What up, guys? Your boy Quake back with a brand new episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast, number 358. And Pooh Shiesty, that's my dog. But I'm really Shiesty. He's out, man. He's free. He had like a 5-year sentence and got out a little bit earlier. So if that tells you anything, that tells you that Diddy will get out earlier too. I mean, that's really the gist of these things, especially with celebrities and people, who've got a little bit more money to, play with the system. They usually get their way to get out a little bit earlier. But also, if you have really good behavior, I guess, in prison too, they let you out earlier, depending on your history and your priors and stuff like that. But let's get into that first. Before I get into the news, though, I am working on the Sha Money XL interview that I did during the Get Rich or Die Trying. That was in December of 2022. I could be wrong. Could have been November 2022, probably, or December 2022. Might have been November, but a while ago. And I went over the footage, and my voice it's hard to hear my voice asking questions and stuff. And the format of this interview is a lot different because it's a documentary. We were never planning on releasing the full interview, but I was like, you know what? I think people deserve to see it. Lots of interesting stuff in there. But a lot of the stuff that we added in the documentary is probably the best part of the whole, interview. So it's not a lot of new stuff in there, but it has a bulk of interesting stuff in the actual interview. So there's still some cool stuff in there. It's just, I think the majority of it, obviously for the documentary, we used the best portions that we thought were the best. So there's my voice has to be added in there, and then there has to be a little bit of editing in between because we do take breaks. I think it was 3 hours and 30 minutes, almost 4 hour long interview. So there was stuff in between where we're taking breaks and stuff like that. So when I say uncut, I'm talking about I'm not cutting out anything in terms of questions and how Sha Money answers them. The only thing I'm cutting out is in between where we take breaks, and obviously my voice is going to be put in there so you guys can hear me better because I didn't have a mic on me at the time when I was doing the interview because, the person's the full focus. There's really no reason to have a mic on me. And mics are really, really expensive, so I don't think we even thought of even trying to have a mic on me. Just never made any sense. And if you look at documentaries, sometimes when you watch documentaries, you'll hear like the person interviewing in the background, they'll ask a question and then they'll put like captions below it so you can understand them better. I might do it that route, but it depends because I think it's just hard to really hear me ask questions. So it's better for me just to kind of record myself asking those questions again over what I did in the video, if that makes any sense. So that's coming out very shortly. I am working on some documentaries, beef documentaries specifically. I'm doing a little short story. That's going to come out in probably a week. And then I have a beef documentary coming out probably the week after. So at least 2 documentaries coming out this month. One really short one semi-longer. And I forgot what I got in the conversation with, but someone messaged me, was like, are you done doing documentaries? No. I mean, I've never been done with it. It's just, it takes a long time to do them. And I want to do them to the level of a Get Rich or Die Trying, like that type of documentary. I don't want to just do documentaries anymore, like where, not to say that I'm done with it, because I will still do them. I did Drake versus Kendrick Lamar this year, so I will still do them. It just won't be in bulk like I used to do them before. It will be a lot more spread out because I want to be able to gather up money to do those Get Rich or Die Trying style type of documentaries where I'm actually flying out, talking to the person, and doing a real, proper documentary. I think nobody's really doing those on YouTube in terms of hip hop. I see nobody doing those in terms of hip hop. So if I got to spearhead that and be the one that does it, hey, I'll do it. I think it's very important. I think it's pushing the envelope. I think it's creatively doing things that, put you in an uncomfortable position too. Because even when I was in, New York and I was flying to these other areas, some of these things is things that I've never done before when I did the Get Rich one. So it's a lot of cool. It's a cool experience, but then you run into a lot of different situations. I mean, if people knew the behind the scenes of the Get Rich or Die Trying documentary and what happened, it would put into perspective of how much hell you go through when it comes to this stuff. And unfortunately, it's some of the people that are, surrounding that turn it into a process that's really, really brutal. But, the end result is worth it. And me being a perfectionist, I'm still not fully happy with the documentary. There's a lot more I could have done. There's 2 interviews that we did, like I said, that never got added to the documentary because, unfortunately, one of the people there thought that 50 Cent was going to be a part of it, which I never told them that. But, that's still on the back burner that I hope for the 25-year anniversary, I get to finally speak to 50 Cent and say, hey, can we do a 25th anniversary of this album? Can you be a part of it? And then we can use that footage as well, because that footage is probably, what's sad is that's probably some of the best shots is in that interview. It's very unfortunate. Like it upset me so much because it would have been such a good part to add to it. But we still have the footage, obviously, so it's sitting there. And hopefully, actually I know this will happen. 25-year anniversary, which will be 2028. By then, I do want to get 50 Cent involved. Hopefully he's down for it. Eminem, Dr. Dre, and then involve those other 2 interviews that we got. And, if we got to re-interview some people and redo some things and add some more people, of course, I'm down for it. I think it's needed. I think these type of documentaries are needed for albums because of the Michael Jackson Thriller. They never did, they did this 40-year anniversary to release this documentary with it, but Michael Jackson's dead. A lot of people are dead that worked on this album, and they never got to say what they did on the album. So that's what inspired me to do it. And yeah, I really want to do that for, other artists as well too. I would have loved to do the 20th anniversary of Chameleonaires, The Sound of Revenge, because that album was something that was really special to me. And just to sit down with Chameleonaire, do that, the Young Buck one, the Lloyd Banks one, T.I., there's a lot of game with the documentary, doing a documentary on the documentary album. There's a lot of ones that I've wanted to do. I want to do Future DS2. That's one of that has to happen too. There's a lot, man. There's a lot, obviously. I would love to do, if I had a budget, let's just say Netflix signed me and they said each episode gets $250,000, you get 10 episodes, then yeah, there would be 10 albums that I would select that I think would be worthy of doing 20-year, 25-year anniversaries. They don't have to really be anniversary documentaries. They can just be documentaries done. But, it takes a lot of money, time. I mean, the one with the Get Rich took a lot of money and time. And you kind of just run into, like I said, bullshit behind the scenes, but then you also run into, how should I execute this? If I go this route, is it too much this? If I go, I had so many different versions of this documentary where I was like, should I go this route? Should I do this? Should I stop here? Should I add more onto this? There's so many different styles, but ultimately it's about the Get Rich or Die Trying album and nothing else. Yeah, there's a lot of things surrounding it, but I didn't want the focus to be on that. I wanted it to be on the people that contributed to the album mainly. That's my main goal of it. So as time went on, but yeah, I'm just rambling on right now. As time went on with that, it was very interesting with a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes that maybe one day I'll talk about and I'll just air it all out because it jeopardized a lot of things, but it also, I'm glad it happened on the first one that I ever did like this because it taught me a lot. It could have happened on the 20th one I do, and then that's where your reputation is built even more, and then, you could really ruin it. There's just a lot of stuff involved. I'm not going to talk about it right now because I'm kind of giving some things away by saying what I'm saying. But yeah, we'll see in the future. Maybe there'll be a documentary on me and diverse mentality in the future. That'll be really cool because I think there's so many stories and so many things and I feel like I'm just getting started, by the way. Diverse mentality has been running for 7 years, but to me, I still haven't broke that plateau, that next level where you've reached a different level, in terms of content creation and stuff like that. So I'm getting there, though. It takes time. Everything takes time. I'd rather go slow and gradual than just get this insane boost of success and fame or whatever, and then kind of fizzle out quickly. I think the slow route is a lot more appreciated, and it builds more of people respecting you and appreciating you, and you're building out your brand a lot more thoroughly, let's just say. But let's get into the news. There's a lot, man. So Pooh Shiesty first. He has officially been released. So back in 2020 and 2021, there were only few artists captivating as much as Pooh Shiesty. The Memphis native was dominating the rap scene, and it was becoming clear that he was a star in the making. Unfortunately, his quick rise to fame also came with a similarly fast downfall. So that's what I'm talking about. Quick fame, quick success sometimes isn't great. In 2022, Shiesty would plead guilty to conspiring to possess firearms and furtherance of crimes of violence and drug trafficking. This all stemmed from an October 2020 incident in the Bay Harbor Islands, Florida. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office, members of Pooh Shiesty's group brandished firearms and assaulted 2 victims. Following the assault, the group departed the scene with the victims' marijuana, codeine, and sneakers. Federal charges can come with some stiff penalties. Thankfully for the rapper, however, he didn't have to serve the entirety of his sentence. Last night, fans were absolutely stunned on social media as it was revealed that Pooh Shiesty was home. Videos started to flood social media, and the audience was absolutely ecstatic. So there's really no audio. It's just Pooh Shiesty walking around. He's wearing the Shiesty mask. Unfortunate, man. It seemed like he didn't really learn anything, man. He's starting to act up and just do crazy shit. He's like, I'm flexing these Ferraris. I get it, you're out, but I would take some time, man. Just stay away from social media. Build that music career, man. Let's see if you can actually have some type of buzz again, because it's going to be very hard for people. Yeah, people might be excited for you to get back home. A lot of people are excited for a lot of artists to come back home. Bobby Shmurda was one of them. Everybody's going crazy. Oh, Bobby Shmurda. Musically, where has he been at? 6ix9ine as well. I think a lot of people were just hyped, not like excited for him, I guess, because a lot of people didn't like him, but they were just like curious. A lot of people were like anticipating him coming home. And there's a lot of different artists, right? So let's see if he can actually build some type of buzz. I hope he does, and I hope he can have a long career. Gucci Mane welcomed him back, but his original sentence was for 5 years and 3 months. This makes for a total of 63 months. Had he served the entire term, he would have been home next year instead. So that would have been 2026. There were even more videos making their way to social media, which, yeah, he was just flaunting him coming back, wearing the Shiesty mask, which a lot of people branded as the Shiesty mask. So, yeah, we'll see what happens, man, musically, if he can come back and actually do something, or if this is just hype and then he eventually falls off and then nobody cares. He'll probably end up he'll have some type of fame still, but it'll be like a Bobby Shmurda where, yeah, you can do interviews. Yeah, you can say certain things in there, but people just musically ain't rocking with him anymore. But we'll see what happens moving forward. Speaking of prison, let's talk about the Diddler. We know he received 4 years and 2 months. I did say he would get a maximum of 5 years. Just wanted to get that out of the way. But he is being hit with 2 more sexual assault lawsuits. And then we're going to go over how many lawsuits he's been hit with so far, which is an astronomical number. Let's go over this article. Diddy still cannot escape the lawsuits, even with a 50-month prison sentence coming up shortly. The battered business mogul is currently staring down 2 more sexual assault lawsuits per TMZ. The first of which comes from a man suing under the John Doe alias. He filed his documents on Friday, the same day Diddy received his fate. The Los Angeles Superior Court filing shares that in late 2014, an opportunity to work with the industry titan came along. Due to his pursuit of entertainment career at the time, he pounced on it. As the lawsuit describes, John Doe was allegedly driven to a house in Val Verde for a music video shoot and then an after party. Throughout the night, they allegedly spoke a handful of times. The party allegedly had tons of alcohol, cocaine, and marijuana, but John allegedly only consumed the former, which is marijuana. He alleges that alcohol. He alleges that after about 2 to 3 drinks, he began to feel off. He eventually blacked out after being led to a room by someone. At one point, he alleges he was being anally sodomized by someone. John Doe doesn't specifically name Diddy, though. However, the effects after this alleged act were terrible. He alleges that he was eventually tested positive for HIV after initially testing months earlier. He is seeking unspecified damages. Yeah, let me tell you this. If I was hit with HIV and I assumed somebody raped me at a party that had something to do with Diddy, I would definitely be suing a lot earlier. But I don't know. It's just surprising, man. These people sue so long if it's true. I mean, this is all speculation. As for the other alleged victim, her name is Leanna Ripley. She alleges that Diddy directly sexually assaulted her while she was celebrating her 20th birthday. In November 2016 at Club Playhouse in Los Angeles is where this alleged incident occurred. She alleges that the CEO approached her and demanded she take this drink he was trying to give her. The woman alleges she denied it, but Diddy was allegedly not going for that. Bitch, I'm not asking you, drink that shit and shut the fuck up. Out of fear, she allegedly took the drink, and that's when he allegedly made his move. She alleges, how many words of allegedly and alleges? She alleges he put his one arm around her and then the other forcefully under her skirt and in her privates. Bitch, I do what I want. Take that shit. She allegedly tried to push him off of her, which led to Diddy allegedly laughing off her distress. Eventually, she got away, left, and called a cab, she alleges. Tony Busby is representing Ripley, who is also seeking unspecified damages. Tony Busby is like all over the place with this stuff, man. It's interesting. But yeah, we don't know. More lawsuits that we'll see what happens down the line. Let's go over now. How many lawsuits has this guy had? And it looks like, according to USA Today, more than a whopping 60 civil sexual abuse lawsuits have been filed against the Bad Boy founder since November 2023. Texas attorney Tony Busby has represented most of the alleged victims. Yeah, so Diddy continues to deny the allegations, which, he's done every single time. He plans to appeal every single one. But yeah, over actually whopping 60 civil sexual abuse lawsuits. That's according to USA Today, who basically counted all of them. So yeah, this guy's facing 60 sexual abuse lawsuits, which is insane. He got hit with other lawsuits too, so it's around 70, but those aren't like sexually related or stuff like that, just lawsuits for music and royalties, whatever. But yeah, he's probably hit with 70 in total, maybe even more. But insane, man. I don't know how he's going to deal with these. I don't know if, I've never heard of a billionaire being hit with a close to billionaire or billionaire at the time. I don't know what he was, but regardless, billionaire, let's just say, being hit with that many lawsuits. Because how do you deal with that? How much money does that cost? I don't know. What do you do? Like, that's it's like there has to be because you have to pay your lawyers to defend all this. What I'm wondering is, at a certain point, can't just people sue the shit out of you to the point where you run out of money and you can't defend yourself? Then what? It's and then if you win and you sue them for defamation, it's not like you're going to get money out of them, because most people that are suing aren't rich. Out of these 60, I'm sure 58 of them don't got nowhere near the money to cover legal fees and anything like that. They're just suing because they need money. I don't know, maybe all 60 of them. I'm just, throwing a number out there, but I don't know how you deal with this stuff. It's really interesting. I would love to talk to a lawyer and ask, how does this even work when you're dealing with all these lawsuits? But hey, that's why Diddy's rich. That's why Diddy has lawyers on retainer. So I'm sure they're dealing with this huge headache of these lawsuits, and they got to figure out how to handle one by one and make sure that Diddy doesn't get hit with more lawsuits. And basically what happened is Cassie opened the floodgates. Once he settled with Cassie, it was okay, we can get this guy to settle. And Cassie won somewhere upwards of 20 to 30 million. I forget the amount, but it was a great amount of money. So settling with Cassie obviously opened the floodgates, and everybody just started to flood in and, sue and say, hey, this person did this to me. Diddy did this. Diddy did that. Now, who's to say they're not telling the truth? I don't know, right? I remember when Cassie did her lawsuit, a lot of people were questioning it. But then once the domestic violence video came out from CNN, not everybody's tone, but majority of people's tones changed because the timelines matched up. And then when Kid Cudi said this, and then photos came out of the Molotov and burning somebody's car, a lot of what Cassie said, the timelines added up and made sense. These other individuals, there's really no proof. Some of them had photos of them in a studio at the time where things kind of looked a little off, but not really. I mean, it's just a photo. You can't say after this photo, he did this to me. You don't know, at the end of the day. A lot of these people are waiting a really long time to file these lawsuits too. So yeah, I don't know. It's he's going to have a lot to deal with though. And I'm sure he's going to have to deal with this all while he's being locked up too, which is going to cost him more and more money. But hey, it is what it is, man. Don't be having them parties. Watch how you move, especially at that level. Just be smarter overall, man. Even as a guy who's not rich, if you're somebody just working a regular 9 to 5, man, you can get caught up in a situation where, you spend the wrong time with somebody and they look at you or they get mad at you a certain way or something happens, then they can just say, hey, this person abused me. It could be female or male. It could be a girl hanging out with a guy and a guy could sue. It could be, the other way around as well. It just depends, So that's why I personally don't hang out with a lot of people. I try to stay to myself. It's rare that you'll ever hear, I was just talking to my friend, it's rare that you'll ever hear stories from me because I just don't hang out with a lot of people. I'm very to myself. I'm very selective on who I hang out with. It's not that I think I'm better than anybody or that I'm just very aware that people can turn on you. People can, fortunately for myself, I've been backstabbed earlier on when I was younger. And it hasn't happened a lot recently, but when you're younger and you get backstabbed through business and stuff, you kind of adjust early on how to move. Early on as a kid, 16, 18, 20, running a business, because I was running the hip hop website, which I had employees, had people backstabbing as employees, stuff like that. Once you run into that at a young age, you kind of know how to move different as you get older. You're not as naive. That's not to say that everybody's a bad person. I've run into a lot of great people who've helped me, who've supported me on my journey, who've done things for me without asking for a single penny, I've run into people like that too. Obviously, there's great people and then there's bad people. But I've run into a lot of bad. I'll never forget when I had a hip hop website, I had hired somebody to work for me, to blog for me. Trusted this guy with the whole website access. Great employee, right? Great person. We talk hip hop a lot, blah, blah, blah. He, at one point, he was like, man, my laptop's really old. It's hard for me to post, because he was like running behind on posts. And I was like, what are you doing? What's going on? Because if he had like some, I usually pick up the load, I'm doing other stuff. But then if you have to for me as a boss, how I am is, if you're working for me, I'll pick up the load. Just let me know ahead of time. Let me know like, hey, this day I can't do it, or just let me know why you can't. And I'll try. And if I can at that time, I'll pick up the load of whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing that goes to me. I usually like to do that. I have no problem doing that. Obviously, if it's, as long as it's not something that's happening every single day, and, then it's like, what's the point of having you around if you're not really reliable? But, if there's times where, hey, I have to do this, I have to edit this, I have to take this, I have to post this, I have to, I'll do it. I have no problem doing that. But with this guy, it was like he was having issues with his laptop. It wasn't performing well. So I was like, what kind of computer do you need? We'll see, and I'll try and buy it for you. So I bought him a computer. It was like a Sony Vaio. I think it was like $800 or $1,000, which at the time was really expensive for laptops. This is like 2012, 2013. Mind you, I'm in high school. 2012, 2013. I graduated in 2013, but I'm in high school. I knew I was in high school around this time, and I'm using whatever money I'm getting from the website to obviously, give myself money, help my parents, whatever I could do with whatever money I was making. But I was also, paying employees. And then, I was like, hey, if we need to reinvest into the, website, I'll do that. So he needed a new laptop. Long story short, got him a new laptop, started working, doing a great thing. Then I had this competitor, and he was like I don't know where the fallout happened with this guy, but basically he was older than me. Mind you, I'm 16, 17 at this time. This guy's like 25, 26, and he ran a hip hop website, and he's very well on hip hop. He was very well versed on websites. I don't know where the fallout happened. Regardless, we just weren't seeing eye to eye. We weren't cool, and he ended up paying my employee to leave me, and then he was like, "Give me the logins to the website." And literally on New Year's Day, on January 1st, my whole website was shut down, removed. Everything was deleted. It broke my heart. I knew exactly where it came from, because that was the only person that had full access to things. And I learned, at 16, 17 years old, that there's people that will backstab you, unfortunately. No matter how good you do for them, I never, and this is the thing with people that have worked for me creatively, I never get in the way. Like if you have an idea creatively, I will go behind, as long as it makes sense. If it's not too out there, or, obviously I'll talk to you about it, but, I'll always allow people to do their own thing, creatively when it comes to working with me. Because, I hate when people creative control everything that I do. So I don't like to do it to other people. If you're working with me, 80, 90% of the time, you got creative freedom. I'm not here to pounce on you and get on top of you and be an asshole, and I could care less. As long as we're doing the work, working towards one goal and making it work, everything will run smooth. With that being said, with him, I never mistreated him. We never got into arguments. Paid him always on time. So it came out of nowhere. Came out of completely nowhere, man. And yeah, just completely backstabbed me. And then years down the line, man, he came back and was like, man, I apologize, blah, blah, blah. I was like, man, I never held malice towards my heart towards him, because I'm the type of person that forgives but doesn't forget. I just kind of move on, and I don't really, I don't want to do business with you. We can be friends, we can talk, but I don't want to be business. I don't ever want to do business with you. That ship has sailed. It's done. So yeah, he saw years down the line I was doing the YouTube thing, successful, blah, blah, blah. And he could have joined me at the time, and he could have been, somebody who could have joined my journey on YouTube as well early on. But, people throw these things, away because they don't see the long-term vision. These things take time to build. It's not something that just happens overnight. Anybody who succeeds overnight usually loses it quick too, which we talked about earlier. But I got into a whole rant on this, but that's my, kind of spiel with things and people. And yeah, you don't know, man. You don't know what you got sometimes around you. You don't know. Be very careful. I don't know how the hell I got into this conversation about this type of stuff. I just lost my train of thought. But yeah, that's just kind of a little bit of history with people and dealing with things in business and stuff. And, I think I just talking about the Diddy, obviously lawsuits and his people dealing with a lot of different things. But yeah, you got to be careful, man. Not everybody has great intentions. There's some people that just there to take, reap whatever benefits and then move on. But 8 times out of 10, it does hurt them in the long run, because I had somebody that was working for me, blogging for me on my website, who literally I had on contract, because after that whole backstab and burning thing, whatever, I had people on contract. At the time, he wanted to leave because one of the NFL teams, I forget which one, man, was asking, hey, can you write for us? Like, do you want to write? And he loved football, NFL, right? So I was like, bro, I could care less about this contract. If that's your dream, you want to go write for them, dude, do that. So I just like ripped the contract off. I was like, go, bro. Like, dude, that's your dream? Shit, don't let me stop you. So I never hold people, I would not like someone doing that to me, so I would never do that to somebody else. Regardless, I think just being a good person, that comes back to you, in the future, and things just go better your way. Karma, I believe in that. So life's too short, man. Why be a dickhead? Why be an asshole? Why, hold people to certain things? Why? I get it, because there's certain moments in my life where I got backstabbed, where I had really a lot of anger, but it's just not worth it, man. Life's too short for all that crap. So just, move on with it. If somebody does you wrong, move on with it, man. I think holding on to it and, trying to find ways to get revenge and get back is just, it's stupid. Speaking of get back, though, Lil Durk, murder for hire. So let's get some updates on this. It's a lot of interesting things are happening, but let's go over the first one, which is Lil Durk's lawyers. Last year, Lil Durk was arrested for an alleged murder for hire plot, and he's been behind bars ever since. Authorities believe he allegedly advised members of his crew to fly from Chicago to Los Angeles back in 2022 to kill Quando Rondo. Quando ended up surviving a shooting at a gas station. His cousin, Lil Pab, on the other hand, succumbed to his injuries. Now, all hip-hop's grouchy Greg Watkins exclusive reports that Durk's legal team is fighting to get the case dismissed. In a new motion, they argue that the indictment isn't detailed enough to allow them to properly prepare for trial. While the indictment alleges that the co-conspiracy carried out various acts at the direction of Mr. Banks flying to Los Angeles, tracking, stalking, and attempting to kill Quando Rondo by gunfire, and procuring the firearms and equipment used to do so, it fails to give any specifics. Attorney Drew Finley writes, when, where, how, and to whom did Mr. Banks give these alleged directions? To ensure the basic fairness of this trial, the defense is entitled to know. What the indictment fails to tell us are the very things the defense is entitled to know, the operative facts underlying the government's theories of Mr. Banks' guilt. He continues, there is no allegation here that Mr. Banks physically participated in the stalking and shooting at issue. A hearing on the motion is currently expected to take place on November 18th. As for Lil Durk's trial that was previously scheduled for August of this year, it has since been moved to January 2026. The delay reportedly came as a result of unusual and complex nature of the case, the amount of evidence, the amount of co-defendants, and more. So they're trying to get this shit dismissed entirely. But there's more. Let's go over this. Lil Durk is facing no shortage of legal trouble these days. Currently, he's behind bars, which we already went over this. Caruso reports that now prosecutors also allege that he put hits on O Block members for not retaliating for King Von's death. I'm going to pipe it up, he allegedly said in one text per court documents obtained by the outlet. Prosecutors are also preparing to introduce testimony from one witness regarding these allegations. This latest update in Lil Durk's case arrives as his team fights to get the case dismissed. So yeah. So apparently Lil Durk was like, you motherfuckers at O Block that are not willing to slide for Von, I'm going to get hits on you guys because you guys ain't doing what the fuck I'm telling you guys to do. Allegedly, by the way. Which is some gangsta ass shit. I'm not even going to lie. Like, to put hits on his own, basically his own hood because they're not listening to the Godfather, Lil Durk, then yeah, man, he is Luca Brasi out here. He's out here being the Godfather, which is insane, man. This is like movie shit that we just kind of like flock at this and we don't really like view it as like anything crazy, but this is literally movie stuff that's happening. But yeah, we'll see what happens. That's insane that detail is coming up. Continuing on, there's some reports that come out with Lil Durk being caught with an Apple Watch in prison. So let's go over this. Prosecutors are alleging that Lil Durk was caught with an Apple Watch in August and tried to destroy it before authorities could seize it. They laid out the claim in a motion requesting an anonymous jury for his upcoming trial. They argued that the alleged incident raises concerns of the possibility of witness tampering. In late August 2025, BOP officials seized an Apple Watch with cellular capability from the defendant. The motion reads, Even more troubling is Banks' conduct after he was caught. Rather than accept responsibility for this violation, defendant allegedly obstructed the investigation, attempting to damage and or destroy the communications device. Authorities originally arrested Lil Durk. Yeah, I'm about to go over the same thing. That's actually interesting that he tried to destroy the watch. Maybe he was saying stuff on there that were not good. So we'll see what comes out of this, but that's another interesting thing. And this is kind of crazy. This is where, you got fans and then you got stans. And this is where stans. This is not like fans. The FBI is claiming that Lil Durk fans have made threats of violence against a prosecutor and a judge as the rapper remains behind bars while awaiting his murder for hire trial. That is insane. Fans are literally threatening the prosecutors and the judge in this case. That is not a fan. That is a stan. That is a psychopath, right? And that's what I mean. There's levels to the shit when it comes to certain people that idolize celebrities. Like, I'm a huge 50 Cent fan. Never in my life have I given a single fuck about if he's been in court. I would never threaten a judge. I could give two shits. Like, 50 obviously is my favorite, but I've never taken it to extreme levels. I don't think I'm biased. There's actually a conversation with DJ Envy and DJ Vlad on Vlad's platform where they're talking about Ja Rule, right? They're talking about, 50 destroyed Ja Rule's career, and Ja Rule was never the same after that.
When Ja Rule came out, everybody loved Ja, right? 50 made Ja Rule look a different way, which made the public and people look at him a different way, which hurt Ja. It hurt Ja.
Well.
What?
Let me interrupt you.
What?
I don't think it was as much of 50 making everyone look different at Ja. I think 50 got in Ja's head and made him think he should stop doing the music that made Ja Rule popular.
No, because Ja Rule still made that type of music.
No,
but I think
he started doing like Clap Back,
But
New
people-
York,
right.
Bunch of hard records.
those are both great records.
Those were cool records, but
Those
they
both good
weren't
records.
like always on time.
But when Ja tried to put out that record, whether it was the record with Bobby Brown or it was a couple of records after it, the public didn't receive it well. G-Unit and 50 Cent changed the look how the public viewed Ja. They did, hands down. Like, hands down.
I would jump in, and they actually had a conversation about. So Vlad's point of view was that 50 tricked Ja Rule out of his position, right? Ja Rule should have made the same records he was making instead of the street records, right? That's a huge misconception as well. I think Ja Rule was for a brief moment making street records, but he got right back onto making those type of always on time records because the track "Wonderful" with R. Kelly. I think Fat Joe's on. I know Shanti's on there. R. Kelly, maybe Fat Joe as well, or it might be the other one. I don't know. But the track's called "Wonderful." Let me just make sure. I think Fat Joe. I might be getting it mixed up because I know Fat Joe had a record with Shanti as well. Ja Rule, "Wonderful." Oh. Yeah. So it's only R. Kelly and Ashanti. I'm getting it mixed up with the other Fat Joe record that came out during that time. So "Wonderful" came out after the beef in 2004. In late 2004, actually. Guess where this song peaked at on the Hot 100. Take some time. I'm just going to wait. If you're in a car listening, yell out a number. If you're watching on YouTube, pause the video, comment below. If you're listening on Spotify, comment. I just want to get a gauge because people are really kind of throwing this shit off here. Okay, gave you enough time? All right. The song peaked at number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100. That is literally a top 5 hit. That is insane. That is a hit record. Usually a top 40 back then is considered a hit, but this is a top 5 song, and this is after the beef with 50. This is when 50 allegedly destroyed his career. As much as I'm a 50 Cent fan, that is not destroying someone's career. What majority of what destroyed Ja Rule's career is the federal thing. Because he was facing that federal thing in 2005 and they couldn't release music. The label was against him. Everybody was against him. So you got the whole 2005 destroyed. By the time he really got back on to making music was 2007. It took that long for things with the label and all this. They had to change the label from Murder Inc. to The Ink. All kinds of shit, right? So we know that when an artist has issues with their label, they do fall off. I mean, 50 Cent had the same thing with Interscope. Right now, Drake is feeling the effects of that a little bit too. Obviously, the music isn't hitting like that either because the music ain't that good. Which one is Ass Cheeks and what's the other record, man? The one with fucking What's his name, man? That damn new artist. I keep forgetting. I'm just slipping my mind right now. Whatever. The new music is ass. Besides, What Did I Miss? That's probably the only good track that came out. So the music is not really there, but he's having issues with his label. Any artist has issues with their own label. You can tell they just automatically start falling off. I mean, everybody. You can look at Chameleonaire, Mike Jones. You can look at Lupe Fiasco. You can look at, there's so many stories of that where just when you have issues with the label, you technically, quote unquote, fall off. There's only so much fans can do and so much fans can, especially back then. If you had issues with the label, you're not going on TRL, you're not going on Rap City, you're not going on any of this shit. You know, it looked like you fucking disappear off the face of the earth. At least in today's time, you got social media, you can kind of, be out there a little bit more. But I say all this to say, Ja Rule is going with all those, he's going against his label, he's dealing with all that. He had hits, and he wasn't, Wonderful is not a street record. Number 5 record on the Hot 100. But people put all that together and just say, oh, he didn't have hits. New York was where did that chart, man? Where did that chart? Because New York was a hit, and that was actually in 2004 in the midst of the beef as well. It might have been 2003. It was actually 2004, never mind. So New York, number 27. So you got a guy who dropped in 2004 a record that peaked at number 27 on the Hot 100, which is a top 40 hit, and a track that peaked at number fucking 5. So this is after the height of the beef. This is 2003. And yet people just like brush it off. And Vlad even did in the interview. That's why I can't wait to get on Vlad TV, because when we talk about that, Vlad would be totally wrong in that. To say that Ja Rule, kind of shifted, that's a misconception. Now, did 50 play a role in destroying Ja Rule's career? Yes. Did Eminem play a role? Yes. Did Murder Inc. being in the fucking federal thing play a role? Yes. All 3 of those things piled on together played a role in destroying Ja Rule's career. It was not just 50 single-handedly. And I'm the biggest 50 Cent fan. You guys always attack me for being a 50 Cent stan and all this. Oh, you're always biased towards 50. No, I'm not. This is a clear video of me not being biased. I can see things for what they are. People are going to be like, oh, no. This is what I'm saying. This is the part where people don't point this and say, oh, look, Quake is not biased. They won't point this. They won't say it because, they don't want to. They just want to say I'm biased. Yeah, do I have more favors towards 50? Yeah, but I just like him as an artist. So, of course, I'm going to like his music more than everybody else's. He's my favorite. So that's not really a bias. That's just, I like what I like. There's nothing I can say to that. But in terms of like facts and looking at history and saying, hey, this is what happened. Yeah. I mean, yeah, did Rick Ross get hot when 50 was beef? Well, yeah, of course he did. But is Rick Ross anywhere near level 50? No. Sales, all that shit. I went over this, So there's a lot of different shit, but I don't know how the fuck I got to this, man. I always begin these tangents. But yeah, with Lil Durk fans threatening the judge and threatening the prosecutor, these are insane. These people are literally insane. This is what they cited. They cited phone calls made to the Central District of California United States Magistrate Judge, as well as Assistant United States Attorney Ian Yandello. If they get life, I'm going to burn this motherfucker down, burn it to the ground. It's not a game, bitch, one caller allegedly said, according to Complex. Another added, free Durk or we're going to shoot that motherfucker up. See, that's not fans. Those are stans. Those are psychopaths. Those are people that, for whatever reason, worship their favorite celebrity. And there's a difference between being a fan and worshiping. I never worship 50. I'm a huge fan. He's done a lot for me in my life, but I put my parents, I put God above him. I put lots of people above him. My family, whatever. There's a lot more people in my life that have impacted more than 50. I don't know 50 personally. Yeah, he's impacted me from a distance, but it's different. Speaking of 50, let's actually get into this. I'll talk about this a little bit later because I talk about him a little bit down the line because I know a lot of you guys, 50, you're always talking about 50 on the podcast. Well, deal with it. That's my little thing about me. That's cool. I always bring them up. But let's get into this. Nas responds to winning New York casino war against Jay-Z. So Nas did an interview with Rolling Stone, and they obviously asked him about him getting the casino over Jay-Z. So Nas recently downplayed the seriousness of fans bringing up his longtime rivalry with Jay-Z in the wake of his casino bid, with Resorts World being approved by New York's Community Advisory Committee over Jay-Z's proposal with Roc Nation. He spoke about the situation with Rolling Stone earlier this week. It is just a thing that some people are going to talk about, he stated. No one has any control over things like that. I still study Rakim and Big Daddy Kane. Some rap fans just like to go off on those things from time to time. That's it. Nas and Jay-Z battled in one of the most iconic feuds in hip-hop history. Yeah, I already covered that. If you've never seen it, Nas versus Jay-Z, who really won. In the wake of Nas' success, Casino bid Queensboro President Donovan Richard remarked at the vote, "There's a theme in Queens, and I know Nas was a part of this. Queens get the money. Sorry, Jay-Z, we win again. You can let the Brooklyn Borough President know that I send my regards to him." Yeah, so I remember playing that. It was funny. But yeah, so Nas just basically said, it's not that big of a deal. I know fans like to go back and forth with that, but it is what it is. And then Nas talked about Kendrick Lamar because, Kendrick Lamar and Whacked Out Murals, basically said that Nas is the only one that congratulated him about the Super Bowl. Everybody else had their opinions and was upset and that Lil Wayne should have done it and this and that. But clearly Kendrick and Nas have a great rapport. So let's go over the article. Nas had some major praise for Kendrick Lamar when asked about the iconic rapper during an interview with Rolling Stone published on Tuesday. The topic arose when writer Andre G compared Nas' 2006 song, Hip Hop Is Dead, to Lamar's more recent single, Watch the Party Die. We all as artists love this art form and have our opinions on it. Kendrick is one of the brightest stars we've ever seen. And I don't only mean superstar. I mean like the North Star. I think he's one of those, Nas began. Out of all the artists in this business, there's some that's not here for the art. When we see those people that are not here for the art, damaging it, you're hurting the future of the art. So I think artists like Kendrick Lamar are going to speak out. He continued, there's a couple of them out there, younger, older, that say what they say. I think there was an Outkast video. One of those guys wore a Hip Hop Is Dead shirt even before I said it. I didn't see that until later. It's just been in the conversation naturally. Like any sport, you want to thrive. You don't want the NBA to start slowing down. You want it to thrive. The ball players want it to thrive. We're going to call out anytime we see it. Sometimes the rest of us won't see it. Sometimes it'll take Kendrick to remind us where we are lacking. Yeah, so that's kind of his respect for Kendrick Lamar, which is great. I don't think Nas and Kendrick Lamar had a song together. Let me actually see. I don't think they do, man. Yeah, I don't see anything with Nas. So that'll be cool, man. That's a collaboration that needs to happen, whether on Nas' album or Kendrick Lamar's. I can't wait to see that. But yeah, round of applause. Nas praising Kendrick Lamar, really cool. Legend like that praising Kendrick, I'm sure it feels great for Kendrick Lamar. So yeah, hopefully we get a song in the future. VERZUZ is officially back. Yeah, I was actually wondering where this went. Actually, probably like 2 or 3 days ago. And then they announced, at least Complex Con announced that it is officially back. And they are doing a live stream from Las Vegas on October 25th. And the VERZUZ will surprise you. It is Cash Money Records versus No Limit Records. Now, this begs the question. Drake, Nicki Minaj, Tyga, are they Cash Money? Technically, they're Young Money. So I don't think they're going to be there. I think this is like the old school Cash Money, the Hot Boys days. Obviously, Lil Wayne should be there. Against No Limit with Mystical, Silk the Shocker, C Murda, Master P. I think Cash Money obviously wins this to me, hits-wise. But, hey, man, it's going to be interesting regardless. So I just wanted to talk about it briefly. I'm definitely going to be checking it out on October 25th. Continuing on, Benny the Butcher. And this is, I don't know, man. I'm not really a big fan of Benny the Butcher. And, this made me not like him that much either anymore. It's a horrible take. I think it's a dumb take. And people are going to be like, when they watch this and be like, oh, this is the exact person they were talking about when Benny the Butcher said this. Whatever. I really don't care what people call me. It doesn't really matter to me. But let's play this clip, and then I'll talk about why this is a horrible take.
Hey, yo, y'all see what state the game is in when the streets don't hold the culture of the game? Now that the weird Twitter nerds and the nerds and all of these weird motherfuckers got, they got their hands on the culture. The street, the voice of the streets don't mean as much as it did when we was coming up. There was a lot of cons to that as well. You know what I'm saying? I got to say that, but you see what happened when the streets, don't control the game no more. It's a lot of fuck nigga shit going on, man. And a lot of people's okay with it because they're fuck niggas, man.
So Benny the Butcher is 40 years old. Let me just get out of the way. 40-year-old man saying that the culture needs to be controlled by the streets, which makes, first off, that's a horrible thing to be controlled by. And here's why. Look at all these murder for hires. Look at all these shootings, killings, stuff like that in hip hop. I don't want to be reporting on a guy pissing on someone's dead grave, making a song about it. That's, and what do we qualify as streets? Why does it matter if the streets control it or not? Whether Twitter nerds control what? How does Twitter nerds control this? It makes no sense to me. The focus and the take on this just makes absolutely no sense, especially for somebody that's a lot older. I would expect him to have a better take and not say that, but I wonder what made him say this. Why is he so upset about maybe some people on Twitter just said your music's garbage, or maybe they said something, that upset him, but nobody controls hip-hop culture right now. It's all over the place. The streets controlling it is not a good thing. Nerds fully controlling it is not a good thing, which they don't. Rec labels fully controlling it. There's goods and positives. I actually would like more policing in hip-hop, because so much music, and just music in general, I think music was way better when it was harder for you to get in. Now that so many artists can just get in, there's really no superstar. I talked about this in a couple podcasts ago, I think. But there really isn't any more superstars anymore, because just random people blow up. They're hot for a couple of years. They fall off, so on and so forth. The music's sounding the same all over the place. Nobody's really making anything unique anymore. So I would like more of gatekeeping to really happen. Whether that involves record labels, the streets, I don't give a fuck who does it. Somebody needs to gatekeep and stop allowing just anything to blow up. And I think that's impossible now with social media, but a lot of music is just garbage nowadays because of that. So I really don't care who runs it. I think obviously the people who respect hip-hop culture, who know their history, should be the ones forefronting and running it, period. Doesn't matter what skin color, doesn't matter where they're from, doesn't matter any of that. If the person respects the culture, knows the history, that's the people that should be in the forefront of it. Doesn't matter if it's a nerd, doesn't matter if it's a street guy, doesn't matter what it is. It's all about if you respect the culture. That's it. You have to know your history, respect the culture, respect previous artists, respect current artists. You don't want people that are blow up that don't, respect Ice Cube or Melly Mel or LL Cool J, or the people who really built the foundation, Run DMC, whatever. Any of those older generations that built the foundation, you don't want people disrespecting them. Like Uncle Luke, I was about to say Uncle Sam. Uncle Luke, who literally invented the parental advisory sticker for artists and fought for their freedom of speech in hip hop music. Like those type of people, like anybody who disrespects those older generations makes no sense. Who doesn't know the history of it. Those are the people that we shouldn't put at the forefront, but it happens, man. The internet's the internet. There is no more gatekeeping. There is none of that, which is a good and bad thing. Obviously, the bad thing is that less quality of music is coming in. When there was gatekeepers, it was a lot. You would have to build stars up, and not as much people would come in dropping music. But now it's all over the place. I just hope, man, there's new superstars that come out. That's all I care about. I need the new generation. Unfortunately, a lot of the new generation died, so that's what you get with the streets. Pop Smoke, dead, who's set to lead the new generation. XXXTentacion, dead, who's set to lead the new generation. Juice WRLD, unfortunately, drugs, but that's part of bad influence in music. But also, like, a lot of street guys turn to Twitter fingers. Look at Meek Mill, street guy. I mean, he tweets some of the corniest shit ever. So it's stupid to say this stuff, man. I don't know what got into his head to say this. He probably just got roasted by somebody online, and you just brushed him off as a Twitter nerd. I get it, though. There's some people that speak on hip-hop that never go out, that never meet people that are in hip-hop, that never really partake in the culture. And these people, it is what it is. The only way these people have power is if you give them attention. That's really all it is, man. I ignore people I don't care to have takes from, that I know don't respect hip-hop. I ignore them. I'm not going to mention names, but there's some people I don't even watch I could give two fucks about, because they just don't care about the history of hip-hop. They don't have good takes. They're just here to make a quick buck, and if they can make some clout off it, they'll do that, and then they'll move on. Those are the people that we got to watch out for. Those are the people we got to get the fuck up out of here. But the people that respect it, the people that know the history, those are the people that respect it and that won't disrespect it ever. At least that's my take on it. I don't really give a shit who runs it at this point. The streets running it is not a good thing, though. Let's just say that. That's just going to lead to more violence and dumb shit happening, which we already have enough of in hip-hop. We don't need more street guys running things and having, you got to check in here. That's corny shit. Everybody needs to grow the fuck up. There's no checking in. Just make great music. Taylor Swift doesn't have to check in when she goes to Los Angeles. She doesn't have to check in when she goes to Nashville. She doesn't have to check in when she goes to fucking, I don't know, New York, right? No other genre of artists have to check in anywhere. Only in hip hop do they enforce dumb laws like that, because there's street people that unfortunately force their street codes onto entertainers. And that's what makes a lot of these hip hop artists turn into street people. Yeah, that's what it turns to, like corny shit and dumb shit, promoting violence, shooting and checking in and laughing at dead ops and all this dumb shit. We don't need street people. You know, there needs to be a balance. Define street. Let's just say that. If there's somebody constantly breaking the law, we don't want them running hip hop. That's not a fucking good thing. That's a bad thing. That's not a good thing. But yeah, I would love to talk to Benny the Butcher about this, actually. It'd be a great conversation. But yeah, hopefully, you know, if I ever interview him, I definitely want to talk to him about this, because I think it's for his age, he should have a better take. Let's just say that. You know, I would expect somebody at the age of 22 saying some dumb shit like this. But this is a dumb take. I'm not saying that he's a dumb person. It's just a bad take. It's a very stupid take. He did kind of correct himself a little bit, where he said, you know, there's some negatives in it, but bad take to have, man. But let me know what you guys think. Numerous Kendrick Lamar songs have leaked online, which is nothing really new. A lot of Kendrick Lamar songs have leaked over the years. A lot of artists, actually big artists, have records that leak as the years go on, from engineers that worked on them to producers to whatever the case may be. I've even, you know, allegedly leaked records in the past, but let's go over this article. Recently, various previously unreleased Kendrick Lamar songs surfaced online, sparking all kinds of responses on social media. Two of the leaked tracks, OD and Trouble Me, were apparently created back in 2018. Once the Los Angeles rapper decided he wasn't going to use them, he sent them to Rihanna. Another one of the leaked songs is Public Enemy and features English singer Bakar. Finally, reference tracks from Baby Keem's The Sound of Bad Habit era leaked, which is So What and Opinions. The Baby Keem reference tracks in particular have earned big reactions from listeners. Ironically, this sounds way better than the published version, one Reddit user claims. Bro, this is one of my favorite Keem songs ever. Laugh my ass off. No way Kendrick wrote this too. You know what's funny? And then what I think about is what Drake said. Baby Keem only blah, 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 put his pen to it. Your shit, he said, what did he say? Your shit only hit when Baby Keem put his pen to it. Well, I mean, here you go, man. With leaked tracks of Kendrick Lamar writing records for Baby Keem, which is no surprise. I mean, I don't think, you know, reference tracks, there's a certain line that I think is all right for hip hop artists to cross, right? If you have a reference track for hooks or for how something should sound, there's nothing wrong with that. I think hip hop artists getting help on hooks and melodies on the records is fine. But when it's like bars and you're rapping verses, that's where, you know, I think majority, 80 to 90% of people would agree, that's where we have issues with hip hop artists in particular. Only in hip hop does it's very, very, what's the proper word? It's just very, it's part of the culture and the DNA for the artists to write their own stuff. Let's just say that. That's the best way I can word it. I'm lacking that one word. There's a certain word. It's like, I'm forgetting, but I can't remember off the top of my head. I got the tip of my tongue, but I just can't fucking remember. But basically, it's something in the culture that is very protected and respected, that as a hip hop artist, as an MC, you have to at least write your own verses, you know? If you get help with hooks, makes sense, because creating hit records is different than just being a rapper, right? But yeah, no surprise here, man, to me. With these records leaking and Baby Keem getting help on records, no surprise there. With Drake saying that Kendrick's hits only hit when Baby Keem put his pen to it, debatable. But also with Drake, you know, I don't think people don't give him enough credit of writing records for other people as well. He's written a lot of records for other people. So to say that Drake is not a writer and that he doesn't do his own shit, a lot of artists have been in the studio with him and said, hey, he wrote some of his verses in like 5 minutes right in front of them. So huge debate on that. I know with Drake, people like to say, oh, he's not a writer. He doesn't, you know, people like to throw that out there. But all the records that leak are really melodic records, man. There hasn't been no track that's really leaked that's like straight bars. I know somebody's in the comments will be like, but Quake, somebody leaked at 5 a.m. in Toronto. That was fake, completely fake, AI. That's the problem with a lot of people. They just don't look into shit. They just, you know, oh my God, is this real? Like, people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Speaking of AI, let's actually get into that, because there is a lot going on with AI right now. And I talked about this in the last podcast episode about Universal and Warner Music trying to come into a deal where they can start publishing AI music, which is inevitable. It's bound to happen, right? But the problem with AI and a lot of platforms is a lot of people are misleading, and a lot of people mislead to get clicks and to get, traffic going their way. So I'm going to talk about my business with diverse mentality. I'm going to talk about what I'm seeing online first. This has really not much to do with AI, but it is misleading. And that's what a lot of AI stuff is going to do. And it's starting to do right now, right? There's a lot of misleading things happening. So first, there was a fake Eminem quote that came out talking about the Nicki Minaj and Cardi B beef, right? The fake quote basically said that they don't have the specific quote, but there was no source that Eminem ever posted it. And the fake quote basically said that he criticized Nicki Minaj over her alleged role in involving children in the rap rivalry and the rap rivalry with Cardi B. That's a tongue twister. Rivalry with Cardi B. The exact quote is nowhere around here, but I saw this before too, right? I forget what it was about, but someone and this happens rampant on Meta. Meta owns Instagram and Facebook. And unfortunately, this is like wildfire over there. I don't know what the fuck they're doing over there, but they're not really looking into this shit. Like, they need to really, really start like taking this shit down. I see a lot of pages on Facebook, and how I'm seeing this now is because we're more active on Facebook because we're finally starting to get paid from Facebook. And the problem is, and because I see the behind the scenes of this, on Facebook, you can now start getting paid for posting images. Like, they will literally pay you for an image that you post. It's not a lot of money. So for example, right, we post an image of Obi Trice, the 20-year anniversary for his album Cheers, or the 21-year anniversary. I forget what it was. It was a 21 year or 22 years. Sorry, 22 year. Came out in 2003. We posted that, got a lot of views, got over like 3,000, 4,000 likes. Let's just say it got 100,000 views. Didn't really get paid much. Like, for that, you're getting paid maybe $10, $15, right? So it's not a big, it's not like you're becoming rich off this shit, right? But seeing that back end of it, I can understand why now I'm seeing so many fake images, AI images, or just fake images with fake quotes all over Facebook. It is, and I see it on Instagram, but I see it way more on Facebook. You'll see on Facebook a picture of clearly AI-generated image of Eminem, 50 Cent, Snoop Dogg, and Dr. Dre, and it'll say Up in Smoke Tour announced for 2025. You'll see this caption, and you'll say, oh, Eminem, said this, or there's a source that said there's no direct source ever. If there is, they source at the bottom. It's a fake-ass website with a fake-ass article, and that just drives more money to them because people go to that website. They think it's real. They see ads on there. These people just drive these fake, and these posts get insane amount of likes. We're talking 100,000. I don't even know what the views are on like that, but insane amount of like viralness, right? And it's all fake. There was never an Up in Smoke tour announced. That would make headlines all over the place. But unfortunately, people on Facebook, for some reason, I don't know if it's because there's a lot more older people on there, so they're more susceptible to fake news. They're more gullible to that shit. But it's running rampant. Like rampant. I can't even imagine 2-3 years from now when AI videos are getting, when we're going to talk about that right now, are getting so realistic that it's going to be so hard to tell what's real and what's not. And it's scary. It's going to be really, really scary, guys. We're going to go down this dark path, and there's going to be a certain point where we won't even be able to tell if the news are even reporting anything real, if they're lying to us. There might be they might say, oh, we saw Jesus Christ walking on water 5 years from now, but it'll be an AI generated video. Everybody will lose their mind. There's going to be these type of things where it's going to get in the wrong hands of people. Right now, it's already happening with minor people that barely knows how to use AI are doing it to try to make money for their companies. I don't know if they're making money off these posts 100%, because I would hope Facebook tries to vet their page and say, hey, what are they posting? Is it fake stuff? Is it real stuff? If it is AI stuff, they should not be getting paid for that. That's AI slop. It's garbage. And Facebook should be tracking that down. Unfortunately, Meta is very all over the place. They don't run things properly. Now, with TikTok, here's a huge problem with TikTok and with AI. I was posting, and why we're having issues growing on TikTok is because whenever I would post, we would have a momentum, right? We would have viral clips go. Like, for example, Young Buck, interview drops. We have some viral moments. Some video got 250,000 views. Another one got like 100,000. We're building momentum, right? On these social media platforms, you have to keep posting to build momentum. as we're building momentum, I keep getting flagged by their AI machine thinking that I'm not creating original content when I am. This is all my shit, my interviews. So I constantly have to refute it. I have to constantly submit tickets and say, hey, this is me. I have to submit my ID. I have to submit how I own diverse mentality. How do I own this interview? So on and so forth. So that's a bad use of AI. I get what they're trying to do. They don't want people to copy content and repost it. I get that. But if somebody's submitting clear proof it's their content, maybe the AI should back off this person a little bit and, you know, only flag certain things that they feel like, okay, maybe let's just say on the podcast, right? I talk about news and then I'll put in a clip, right? And that clip's not mine, obviously, but it's me talking about it. Still, it's under copyright law. It's original content, but because of that clip, it might flag the AI machine as like, you know, okay, this is, you know, probably stealing content, which under law it's not, but I get that, right? If that gets flagged, it makes sense. But my fucking interviews getting flagged when it's my shit and I've proved it over and over, that's a big problem with AI. But at least with TikTok, you know, they're trying to do something about it. With Meta, I'm so confused. Are they even doing anything about this? Do they even give a shit? Or they're just like, hey, it's bringing in traffic. Who cares if it's real or not? That's my worry. And it's I've had so many fake Eminem quotes. And someone today, shout out to Ari, by the way, if you're listening, he sent me a fake Ja Rule quote where it says, Ja Rule waves the white flag and the 50 Cent beef. And it's just, I'm actually go to this post and actually read it. Show you guys that this never happened. This isn't real. None of this is real. And there's no source. There's no solid source to this. It's just, so look, they'll post the New York record, right? They'll post in the caption, breaking news with fire emojis next to it. After 26 years, Ja Rule says he's waving the white flag. He tweeted, my beef with 50 started back in 1999. We've both been petty as hell, but today I'm done. I'm a grown man with kids now, and this beef has to end. 50 Cent saw the tweet and shot back. Nah, this ain't over. Our beef lasts till death do us part. I'll be doing the Crip dance on your grave. First off, 50 Cent never talks like that. Mind you, this has 111,000 likes, over 5,000 comments, 80,000 shares. No source, no tweets posted, nothing. It's just an image of 50 and Ja Rule. Next, it's a image where they put two images together. No valid proof source, nothing. Just breaking news in bold letters and capital letters with fire emojis next to it. Now, use your brain. Like, people need to kind of, look at this and be like, has 50 ever said he's Crip walking on somebody's grave? Like, that's never been 50's lingo. I get some people don't know 50, so it makes kind of sense for people not to know this. I'm kind of speaking from my perspective when I do this every single day. So for me, it's easier to see this stuff, but just go to the Twitter and see if they tweeted it. It's that simple. If you don't care enough to get that deep into it, don't like it, don't share it, don't engage with it, ignore it. Because the best way for this to stop is if these people stop getting likes and stop getting engagements. But unfortunately, people don't look for sources. They just read and just assume it's real. And that's the sad part, is you have to look for sources. On diverse mentality, if I don't give you guys a source of what I'm reporting on, do not believe it. Call me out. Say this is fake. This is clickbait. This is cap. And I get some trolls that say clickbait, cap. Like, I had a post of Taylor Swift shouts out 50 Cent on her album. Some dumbass commented clickbait when I literally in the next slide posted the lyrics of the fucking song. And I posted the audio of the song in the fucking reel, which is her saying 50 Cent's name clearly in it. But unfortunately, you'll get trolls like that. But diverse mentality, we always go over everything. We make sure there's sources to this. So on our platform, never be afraid of us posting fake news or anything, unless we get it wrong, which rarely ever happens. I'm not saying we're perfect, but yeah, I might post something and like the Funk Flex thing, basically, when he announced that he's quote unquote retiring, a lot of people posted that he's retiring, but really it was Flex changing his time of when he's going on the radio, which, misreporting, I deleted it immediately. God, that's like misreporting, misunderstanding. But that type of stuff, I will always check myself on. I will always correct myself if I find out later on that this is fake, this is information that wasn't right or whatever. But please stop believing this. Like, you'll see on Facebook, Eminem quotes, random tweets, fake tweets that Eminem never uses Twitter. Like, never. He uses it to promote whatever he's promoting at that moment. That's it. He's not a social media person. So I don't know how people fall for this. Like, when has Eminem ever gotten involved himself on Twitter, on social media and stuff? Never, 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 never. Point me a fucking time where he's gotten it. Oh, did he ever tweet when Drake and Kendrick were beefing? No, he doesn't get involved in that type of shit. Why would he tweet about Cardi B and Nicki Minaj out of all fucking people? Like, that just, I don't want to get mad because I get really angry at this stuff because I'm like, just use a little bit of common sense. The people who believe this stuff, just please try to sit there and just be like, how can this, but I can't be mad because I can't expect everybody to be how I am. You know, I'm not saying I'm perfect because I've fallen for some shit too. I've posted some shit on my personal stories, not on Diverse Mentality, but on my personal stories where, fuck, this is fake. This is a wrong quote. This isn't real. And I've removed it down the line. But please, just, if you don't care to do the due diligence of seeing if it's real or not before you share it or before you like it, then just ignore it. Please. That's like the best route to take because this is going down a path and these platforms need to do a better job of vetting this stuff. Like if I create a social media platform, if I had the money to create a social media platform, I would give 3 strikes. And I've said this before, 3 strikes. If you're 1 strike, hey, you're posting false. 2nd strike, you're posting false. 3rd, out of here. I don't want to see you ever. I'm going to ban you, bar you from ever posting. Because by the time the 3rd time you're doing it, I know you're doing it just to try to get clicks. Like there's so much of this shit going on too. And it's clearly fake. Speaking on AI, because I want to talk about how fake, there's literally Michael Jackson videos of him stealing KFC chicken, doing dances, doing all kinds of shit. There's Tupac videos of this. And Robin Williams' daughter, I believe, responded to this. And she is like hurt about this. So this is what she said. Robin Williams' daughter, Zelda, tells fans, please stop sending me AI videos of dad. If you got any decency, just stop doing this to him and to me, to everyone even. Full stop. It's dumb. It's a waste of time and energy. And believe me, it's not what he'd want. To watch the legacies of real people to be condensed down to this vaguely looks and sounds like them. So that's enough. Just so other people can churn out horrible TikTok slop, puppeteering them is maddening. You're not making art. You're just making disgusting, overprocessed hot dogs out of the lives of human beings, out of this history of art and music, and then shoving them down someone else's throat, hoping they'll give you a little thumbs up and the like. It is gross. And for the love of everything, stop calling it the future. AI is just badly recycling and regurgitating the past to be reconsumed. You're taking in the human centipede of content, and from the very, very end of the line, all while the folks at the front laugh and laugh, consume and consume. Very well said, by the way. And you got to think of it from people. This is the problem with humans, though. They don't put themselves in other people's shoes. A lot of humans don't. Imagine them seeing, and I even got caught up in this where I was laughing and I even posted the Michael Jackson one. But I thought, when I saw this, I thought about it. I was like, damn, Michael Jackson's kids have to see this. His family has to see this. These videos of AI videos of him doing crazy things. And it's not him. They have to hear this guy's voice. They have to, I couldn't imagine like my dad dying, somebody making AI videos of my dad doing crazy stuff and me having to like scroll accidentally on that and see that. You know how depressing and saddening that is? It's fucked up. So when you look at it from that lens, I think a lot of people will start to realize this is bad. Not only is it fake, but it's just bad content. Hopefully there's more laws into this where people can't start using real life human beings in AI anymore. That law should apply to everyone, not just celebrities and people that are rich. Like every human being that has an identity should not be able to be used in AI videos because it can get bad. There needs to be hard, and I'm talking about hard legal ramifications for this. We're talking 5 years in prison. Like it has to be very, very hard because it's not going to go through people's head. If it's 30 days jail time or probation or whatever, it's not going to go really, really, it's not going to make people want to not do it. It has to be very stiff and very hard because it's going to get really bad and really ugly quick. I say all that to say, yeah, try not to support all this shit. Watch where you're getting your sources. I hope, this part of the video goes viral. I hope more people can actually hear this because it needs to be said a lot more. I feel like a lot of people aren't saying this a lot more. Just be very wary of what you're reading online. I'm not saying my platform is the best ever and it's the greatest source for everything, and I don't post every news and everything, but I do vet what I post, and I make sure that what I post is real. 99.9% of the time, I am accurate. There's going to be a sliver, which happens sometimes, but I will remove the post. Speaking of AI, 50 Cent says he wants to use AI to share his unreleased music. I don't understand what the point of this is. I don't approve of it. I think 50, he posted the alternate version of 21 Questions, which is like a 1950s, 1960s version. And he says, now this shit is hot. I'm going to use AI in all my unreleased songs and see what I got for you. And then he posted a soulful version of God Gave Me Style, writing, this feels good too. What the fuck going on now? This version lets you see my vision. It's softer. Look, I have no problem with AI versions of songs coming out later that you can tell is AI, right? It's 1950s versions of 50 Cent songs. One, it highlights how great of 50 Cent, how great of a songwriter 50 Cent is, because it can be adapted to any time and sound really good. But, AI, 50 using AI on his unreleased songs, what's the point of that? Is that because you just want older versions of some songs you recorded, or your voice was bad during those unreleased songs? Like, what's the point of that? That's the crazy part of it. Hey, it's unreleased 50 music, which is cool, but it has to be executed properly. I don't know what route you would take with that. And two, I already talked about 50 Cent coming out with a new album, but it's a collab album with Eminem. I mentioned this in August. What happened is Havoc, an Alchemist, stopped by Bootleg Kev's podcast, and Bootleg Kev said, I've been hearing about 50 Cent dropping a new album, and he asked Havoc, would you work with 50 on his new album? Havoc said, I haven't heard that 50's working on a new album, but 50 can reach out to me. They made Fully Loaded Clip, and then Curtis 187. Alchemist made that, I think, on the Curtis album. So, people start talking about, 50's coming out with new music. I was like, man, I tweeted this shit back in August. It is October. Like, now people are kind of, just because Bootleg Kev said it, no disrespect to Bootleg Kev. I've said this a while ago. I have very good sources. This source told me about the Missionary record with Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and 50 Cent Eminem. This source told me about a bunch of other shit I can't even name off the top of my head. I fucking forget. But this source is a very reliable source. This source said that 50 Cent and Eminem are working on an album. I don't know when it's coming out. And the reason why 50 wants to come back with a collab album is because he's worried about sales, which is clear as day. 50's very worried about sales, that if he drops a solo album, it won't perform well. So 50's testing the waters with his collab album with Eminem. If it does well, he will then come out with a solo album. That's what I'm being told. That 50 doesn't want to have a comeback, just be a solo album. He feels like that's not enough. He feels like it needs to be something big. And obviously 50 and Eminem getting together to make an album is huge. Whether people will like it or not, I don't know. Whether I will like it or not, I don't know. All I know is people are going to listen to it. That's 100% fact. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. You got two of the biggest artists getting together to make an album. People are going to listen to it. Now, whether it's a good album or not, like I said, I don't know. It's 2025. Maybe by the time the album comes out, it's 2026. Eminem 50 really ain't at the prime anymore. 50's been kind of lackluster musically. Eminem, his voice is kind of all over the place, but who knows? Maybe they implement AI in there, get their old voices back. I don't know. Regardless, I'm 90% sure that's going to happen. I don't know when, but yeah, you got now Bootleg Kev mentioning it, so it might end up happening. I don't know. I just trust my source. I'm not saying it's 100% confirmed, but there is something being worked on, and I trust my source, so my bet is the collab album. Some people are like, I don't want a collab album. I want just a solo 50 album. I get that, but I can understand where 50's coming from. He's kind of testing the waters. He's scared of sales, which he shouldn't be. I think every veteran artist past their prime shouldn't matter about sales, man. They've done their prime. They did 50 in his prime, did insane numbers. Nobody stays in their prime forever unless you're Drake. Even Drake actually witnessed some sales decline, but not much. But still, they've passed their prime, and for them, sales shouldn't be a factor. Just do music because you like to do it. And that's the problem with 50 is he highlighted sales his whole career. Now everybody's going to focus on his sales. So he kind of the bullet backfired on that. At the time it was cool when you were selling, all these records and doing your thing. But now when you've not released music in a long time, the sales are going to reflect that. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But watch out, man. Fake quotes, AI, all that stuff. It's going to get crazy. And, as long as artists use AI the right way, I'm down for it. I'm all for it. Now let's get into the Billboard Hot 100, and Golden is still at number 1. It's the Hunter RX, whatever. I don't know what group it is. Ordinary with Alex Warren's at number 2. Tit for Tat, Tate McRae debuted at number 3. That's impressive. What I Want, Morgan Wallen, number 4. Daisy's Justin Bieber, number 5. Lose Control, Teddy Swims, number 6. Soda Pop with the Saja Boys, number 7. I Got Better, Morgan Wallen, number 8. Love Me Not, Ravine Lene, number 9. Your Idol, Saja Boys, number 10. Going down the list, hip-hop is like nowhere to be fucking found, by the way. Luther, Kendrick Lamar, and SZA, number 28. Chris Brown and Bryson Tiller, It Depends, number 29. By the way, Bryce Tiller has a lot of hits, man. I did not know that. Like a lot of RIAA certifications. All the way, BX the Plug, number 37. See where Drake is at in this, by the way. Safe, Cardi B, number 42. Time, Cardi B, number 43. Tyler, the Creator, Sugar on My Tongue, number 46. BX the Plug, Hell at Night, number 48. Doja Cat, Gorgeous, debuted at number 56. Outside, Cardi B, number 57. Pretty and Petty, Cardi B, number 59. Magnet, Cardi B, number 60. NBA Youngboy, Shot Calling, number 64. Young Thug, Ninja, debuted at number 69. Damn, not many Young Thug songs are on the charts. That's crazy. Gunna, WGFT, number 75. Cardi B, Hello, number 76. Which One, Drake and Central C, number 87. So he's about to literally fall off the charts, but I think he will this time next week because Taylor Swift's going to be taking over. Dead, Cardi B, number 88. Bodega, Baddie, Cardi B, number 89. What's Going On, Cardi B, number 92. Pick It Up, Cardi B, number 93. And Metro Boomin, Take Me Through There, number 99. Crazy. So one Drake song, man. It's that Central C and Drake one, which is surprising. That's even still on the charts. That's the worst Drake song he's dropped in a fat minute. But yeah, that's it for today's episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast. As always, appreciate you guys for supporting Spotify, Deezer, Pocket Cast, YouTube, all that. Have an amazing night, day, whenever you listen to this, and peace.